Hi friends, it's me, Mr. Aaron, live from his house, and today we're going to be reading Giant Children, a poem book by Brode Baggart and pictures by Fly Guy artist Ted Arnold. Giant Children. Psst, listen very closely, there's something you should know. It's all about a giant school where giant children go. Pages turn at giant speed as giant children learn to read, and giant brains are really quick when working on arithmetic. They pound the beat on giant drums and finger paint with giant thumbs, sing giant songs with giant lips, and boogie dance with giant hips. Giant shoes on giant feet, and giant giggles when they meet. I watch them hour after hour, giant kids with giant power. I'm just the classroom hamster, but I promise you it's true. This is the school where giants go, and the giant kids are you. Heartstopper. I'm standing on the stage, the play's about to start, and the only sound I hear is the pounding of my heart. It was everything I wanted, my fantasy, my goal. So I tried out for this play, and I got the leading role. I learned my lines, I practiced, I came so very far. I dreamed about this moment, I was going to be the star. So here I am on stage, and the play's about to start. My life was so much simpler before I got this part. Pretty Ribbon. I went for a walk by Cypress Lake, and halfway around I spotted a snake. A ribbon snake, pretty as could be, the prettiest snake you'll ever see. I put that snake in a paper sack, then turned around and started back. I'm a sweet little brother, and I always share, and now I have a ribbon for my sister's hair. Jaws. When the turtle bit my brother, he made an awful sound. He ran around the house, he fell screaming to the ground. So I whispered to the turtle, I'd like to be your friend, especially if you promise you'll bite my brother again. Giddy up. That horsey is so big, I said. I'm so very small. Please don't put me up there, Mom. I'm scared that I might fall. But she sat me in the saddle with a reassuring grin, and when I whispered, giddy up, he took off like the wind. I said to myself, it's time to be bold. Somehow I've got to take over control. I was gone for 3 days. Mom thought I was lost, but it took me that long to show 'em who's boss. I can't believe I was so afraid that I might fail. But now I wonder, yes I do. Do you think I could saddle a whale? Stinky Boys. I hold my baby brother, all powdered sweet and pink, but when he makes a funny face, his diaper starts to stink. And that's when I remember the baby brother rule. Someday he's going to grow up like those stinky boys at school. Booger Love. Warning to all children. This poem is totally disgusting and should not, under any circumstances, be recited to a grown-up. Booger Love. I love this little booger, all shiny green and black. You can hold it for a minute, but I want my booger back. It stays right where I put it. It sure knows how to stick. And if it gets too dry, it just needs a little lick. Ugh. I can hold it on my finger, I can flick it in the air, I can stick it underneath a desk or underneath a chair. I can make a ball and roll it, just to see which way it goes. I love this booger anywhere, except inside my nose. Oh boy. There's a goblin in my throat. There's a goblin in my throat, and he's such a nasty goat. He always wants his way with the words I try to say. If I try to say clown, he changes it to frown. If I try to say daisy, he changes it to lazy. If I try to say wink, he changes it to stink. It's very hard to be nice with a goblin in your throat, but still I hate, because life is so beautifully. And if you're sweet as salt, you see, these terrible things I say are really not my fault. Yummy clothes. When we studied Hawaii, the 50th state, we were all so excited we just couldn't wait. And then our teacher walked into our class wearing a skirt that was made out of grass. What if a cow, I began to suppose, came into the room and ate all her clothes? But I'm not a cow, I'm a kid named Eddie. So you're safe, Mrs. Jones, just don't wear spaghetti. The buffalo in the library. At school in the library, in section 811, I saw a big brown buffalo who was having lots of fun. His nose was in a book of poems about trees, grass, and birds, but that buffalo wasn't reading, he was just eating up the words. I like you, Mr. Buffalo, and I know you have to feed, but please don't eat my poetry books, I need those books to read. I'll take you to the playground and give you grass instead, but poetry is the food I need to feed my hungry head. Chocolate Maniac. I love my mother, I love my dad, I love my brother, though he drives me mad. My teacher, she is fine and dandy, but I really love my chocolate candy. I eat it when it's hot, I eat it when it's cold, I eat it when it's fresh, and I eat it when it's old. I eat it by the ounce, I eat it by the pound, I eat it at the table, and I eat it off the ground. I eat it and I eat it till my belly's going to pop. Then I eat a little more, I don't know how to stop. I love that chocolate taste, oh so gooey, sweet and thick, but I've eaten way too much and I think I feel a little sick. I'm going to have to learn to stop, I have to take control. I'll give up chocolate forever when I'm 99 years old. Fly food. I went up in a swing up ever so high, then I opened my mouth and I swallowed a fly. I thought of fly legs and those sticky fly feet that walk on the yucky things that flies like to eat. It's the second worst thing that could possibly be. It could only be worse if the fly swallowed me. Spaceball. Last night I had a funny dream. My brain's a mysterious place. I dreamed about some aliens who lived in outer space. I watched them play a game that seemed a lot like baseball. They played with bats and floppy hats, but the aliens called it Spaceball. Jupiter was the pitcher's mound, Saturn was third base, and the little alien kid at bat had a serious look on his face. Full count, bottom of the ninth, I heard the announcer say. This batter's trying to hit the ball clean out of the Milky Way. Then I saw the ball was planet Earth. Oh, how could it possibly be? If he hits that ball, it's the end of all of us. That means the end of me. I heard a shout, strike three, you're out, and space was filled with cheers. But the little alien batter's eyes filled soon up with alien tears. My dreams are strange, but last night's dream was the strangest dream of all. Earth was saved by an alien who couldn't hit the ball. Monster Me. Lordy Lord, my soul's at home. It's monster trucks at the Cajun Dome. I find my seat, I wiggle and wait. I fix my stare on the starting gate. And there it is, roaring fire with Titan's tires, my heart's desire. Here comes Bigfoot, clap your hands. He's crushing cars like soda cans. Bigfoot, Bigfoot, just like me. Boss of the world and born to be free. Lordy Lord, my soul's at home. It's monster trucks at the Cajun Dome. The Princess and the Dragon. Once upon a time in a far-off distant place, there lived a lovely princess with a pretty princess face. She loved the handsome prince, she loved him all her life, and deep inside she always knew that someday she'd be his wife. Then their world was picture perfect until that awful day, a dragon swooped down from the sky and carried her away. But this princess was no wimp, she drove a Maserati. She was a champion wrestler, she had a black belt in karate. So when that dragon growled at her, the princess knocked him flat, and that fire-breathing dragon turned into a pussy cat. She jogged back to the castle, got home in time for lunch, and the prince was glad his princess bride could really pack a punch. Choices. Daddy agrees I need a pet, and Mom, you know it's true. So I made a little list, but the choice is up to you. An elephant, a whale, a tiger with a tail, an eagle to soar in the air, a horse, a donkey, a gorilla, a monkey, a camel, a boar, or a bear. Or a cuddly little kitten. I'll like whatever you do. So now you have my list, but the choice is up to you. Dinosaur canary. I read it in the magazine. It's the very latest word. They think the giant dinosaur was a prehistoric bird. Now I love my little canary, my tiny feathered friend. But what if I gave it too much food? Would it get real big again? And then what would it eat? The problem's plain ever to see. A dinosaur canary might decide to chomp on me. The scratch. I was running and I fell. I hurt my knee. And I got a back scratch and I want you to see. What's that? You can't find it? But it's got to be there. It hurts me so bad. Please search everywhere. If you don't ever find it, think what I'll miss. No place for a Band-Aid, no need for a kiss. A letter to the Tooth Fairy. Dear Tooth Fairy, I look under my pillow and what do I see? My tooth on the bed looking back at me. When a kid loses a tooth, the Tooth Fairy pays. But my Tooth Fairy's been waiting for 3 whole days. Now listen, Tooth Fairy, this is not very funny. Come get this tooth and leave me some money. Sincerely, me. Swamp Stomp Rock and Roll. I've heard a lot of things. I'm almost 8 years old. But the coolest thing I've ever heard was the Swamp Stomp Rock and Roll. The summer sun had almost set when we began to walk. Grandpa said to listen, so I tried hard not to talk. Where the river meets the swamp, Grandpa sat me on the stump. Big trees like ghosts stood all around, and my heart began to thump. First I heard a cricket, then there was a pair. Then 1,000 more joined them, and chirping filled the air. The summer night was turning cool, with fog as thick as smoke. An old screech owl began to hoot, and frogs began to croak. The night was full of fireflies, flashing blue and green. It was the greatest light show human eyes have ever seen. Gators groaned and mercats squealed. Fish began to flop. My toe had started tapping, and I couldn't make it stop. My booty started bouncing, and my foot began to stomp. How my body loves to boogie to the music of the swamp. Burning Desire. If I could have a fire truck, I think I'd paint it red. I'd wear a yellow jacket and a helmet on my head. I'd climb behind the wheel and I'd make the siren blow. I'd drive around the city and I'd give them all a show. I'd park in front of a school so the teachers all could see, and all the other kids in school would wish that they were me. The mayor would give me medals, I'd pin them on with pride. The president would ask me if I'd take him for a ride. If I could have a fire truck, I'd have my heart's desire, and everything would just be fine until there was a fire. And I think the last one, bad words. She actually said it. She said it in class. It sounded so nasty. It sounded so crass. The children stared. The teacher scowled. The custodian cried. The principal howled. Then poor little Patty, my very best friend, she opened her mouth and she said it again. Bad words, we all began to chant. Never, never, never say the words I can't. And giant hearts. Psst. Listen, little hamster, we have something to say to you. You may think we kids are giants, but you can be one too. Giants don't have to be real big. Giants don't have to be tall. What makes someone a giant is not their size at all. And even when we giants get scared, we always do our best. We learn from our mistakes and forget about the rest. Life is like a play. We all play giant parts. And the biggest giants are the little players who play with giant hearts. Wow, that was such a silly collection of poems. And that was Giant Children by Brode Baggart and pictures by Fly Guy artist Ted Arnold. What did you guys think? Have you guys ever written a poem before? Maybe that's something you could do at home with your mommy and daddy. Anyways, thanks for listening and have a great day.